Hi guys, this is Mike out from the Comic Book Syndicate. We just saw Ant-Man and Wasp. And the Wasp, you're right. I don't know what to say about this other than I have nothing bad to say about it. I'm shocked in that everything fit together perfectly. Everything made sense. The stakes were low. There was nothing shoved in to like push an agenda for another movie, right? One of the better Marvel movies. What do you guys think?
I think the first time we saw the Ant-Man movie, I said I was like made a joke and I was like, it's a small movie, but this one is literally like, it's just the story of a couple people. Like, the world's not gonna end, the town's not in crisis. It's just about a couple people and their specific story. That was super refreshing, especially for a Marvel movie, because the last movie we saw was the universe is destroyed.
Right.
Oh, I loved it. It didn't come soon enough, though, for me to not be just completely tired of superhero movies. But I always loved Paul Rudd, and the comedy was really great. So
I do have a few small complaints about it, just from a
Contrarian. Hello, everybody. Here's Mr. Contrarian.
just a couple instances where there are a couple of really awkward cutaways, just in terms of like technicalities. There was one scene about 50 minutes, an hour into the film, where Ant-Man and Wasp retrieve a certain item from a new character called Ghost, who I'm sure will become a eventual fan favorite, and they just run away from Ghost, and it just cuts to them back at the lab. So there's a couple of awkward cuts. But other than that, though, the movie it's very, I don't want to say lighthearted, but it just feels light to watch. There's stakes, but they're low. You're not stressing out like in the Avengers, like Becca said. All in all, it was a good experience.
I did feel maybe a couple of awkward cuts like that, but again, compared to most Marvel movies, this did feel like the humor was funny. Like the characters felt real, the stakes were real. And again, like I said about the story all fit together. Like it was very clear what was going on, what the stakes were, what the cost would be if they didn't get what they wanted, and also why it had to happen now. There was like a time limit, right? And so that was very important. And again, it's very simple. And there were technically 2 or 3 plots going on, but it was very simple and easy to follow.
It was really lighthearted, and I really liked that about it. It was just like a nice movie. Like I told you, I was like, when was the last time a movie made you like happy?
Never.
Yeah, because they're always like, especially recently, they're also depressing and like serious and like the universe is ending. And I was like, yay, family. It just made me want to hug my mom at the end. I really liked it.
I never felt like when the bad guys were there, I never felt like the good guys could actually get killed, which is good. I mean, you want that in a Batman movie, not in an Ant-Man movie, right?
the only thing I noticed is that everything fit together, and it wasn't tiresome. It was helpful, because there are actually a lot of characters in this film, and there are like 4 plots running simultaneously, but they all converge on one goal. Right. That's where most of these movies make their mistakes. In other films, they all somewhere along the line run along the same goal, but it's messier for some reason, and this one is not. It's simple. It's not like simple.
It's straightforward.
Yeah, it's just a little more straightforward. It's a little more minimal. There's not fanfare about costumes. There's not fanfare about CGI. It's just like the CGI is like size gags, and that's what it is. Right. It's just, this is the kind of film that should have been made the whole time.
Now, let's talk about some of the new characters really quick. What did you guys think of the villain, Ghost?
Totally different from the comic books, like completely different. When I first, like, they were like, oh, it's gonna be a woman and everything like that. I was like, oh, cool. But like, completely different story than the Ghost from the comic books, the Iron Man bad guy. I didn't think that version of Ghost would work in this movie, so I'm glad that they changed it. It actually made sense, and it's another villain that Marvel did that wasn't a villain, that was someone troubled, that was someone who was just trying to save themselves. So along the lines of Eric Killmonger, where Marvel's like, let's not do the traditional, here's the bad guy who's the exact same as the good guy, but is bad, and then gets defeated at the end. Like, let's actually make interesting bad guys, interesting villains, interesting antagonists that actually make the plot move forward and aren't just there so that the good guy can win.
Good point. And her powers are cool.
And they're super cool. Like, that character design was dope, and I loved how, like, she started off, like, more sane and then kind of went a little crazy, and, like, because of her condition and everything, and Goliath was cool, like, helping her out. I don't know. It was pretty dope.
Well, Ghost, I think, again, that's going to be the take-home message of this film. I hope she shows up again somehow. I don't know how that would be possible, but maybe. I don't know. She kind of gives me shades of an angrier version of Kitty Pryde, maybe, with the phasing.
Luis, what did you guys think of Luis? I thought he was great.
Just as good at this one as he was in the first one. He was probably my favorite part of the first one. just as good as this one. Like, they did the gag again where he talks really fast and everyone mouths, and I was like, oh my god, that's my favorite thing that Marvel's ever done. It's so interesting. It made Ant-Man different than every other Marvel movie, and this one felt a little different too.
Yeah, I liked him too. And it's really weird because they surround him and the southern villain with like these minstrel's a bad word, but like these canned Russian stereotype characters. Like, that's the stereotype character that we get out of this movie.
Yes.
So I mean, it's not terrible, but like I also don't mind some Eastern European guy in the background just like freakishly going on about Baba Yaga because she's frightening. Okay, she's to be feared.
And then Ghost comes after, like, with her hair all covered in her face.
Yeah, and he's like, I told you.
Okay, I've had a crush on Michelle Pfeiffer since I saw Catwoman. I was like, maybe not straight, like as a young child, and just as much so. I love Michelle Pfeiffer. She's a perfect Janet Van Dyne, and as a big fan of Janet, I'm really, really glad that they got someone who was like Janet. Like, she's whimsical and fun, and I want to see her designing clothes in the next one.
Mm-hmm. I want to see her designing
That's what
clothes.
she does.
Doesn't Hank Pym beat her though?
We're going.
I'm waiting for that in Ant-Man 3. Okay, so I just gotta say, I've had a crush on Michelle Pfeiffer since Grease 2. And so this was a long time coming.
We're gonna be late. Let's go.
Grease 2.
Speaking of depressing, let's talk about that mid-credits scene. Spoilers. Yes. We all saw Infinity War, and this scene actually, or this film rather, actually kind of ties into Infinity War because you find out why Ant-Man wasn't exactly in the film. Because this film was running in parallel to Avengers Infinity War. And then the ending is kind of, I think, the darkest part of the movie, though the movie's still quite light. But three main characters actually disintegrate like that while Ant-Man is off being indisposed in the quantum universe. So that was probably the darkest the movie got.
My final question is, do you guys recommend this film? Because I do, with flying colors. It was an unexpected surprise for it to be this good. That's all I gotta say.
If you like fun family films and you like non-traditional families, if you like divorced parents and stepdads all like getting along because of the daughter, shout out to Cassie Lang, probably the best Marvel character of all time, you will absolutely love this movie. It was so nice to sit down and actually enjoy a movie and have fun and feel happy and just want to hug my mom and just like hug my weird family. I don't know, what do you think, Jilly?
It really made me want to watch Dangerous Minds again.
She was also in that terrible remake with Johnny Depp, Dark Shadows.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah.
Ew, Johnny Depp, gross. I just realized the movie was called Ant-Man and the Wasp, but we didn't talk about either of them.